and welcome to July 25th, where we're reading Nehemiah chapters 2 through 4. Now, today's reading is all about getting to know Nehemiah as a person as he sets out for Jerusalem and begins to rebuild this wall. He begins that whole process. In chapter 2 of Nehemiah, he's working as a cupbearer to the king. That's a detail you learn at the very end of chapter 1. And it just so happens that one day he is sorrowful in the king's presence. That wasn't supposed to happen. That was something that could be pretty punishable. And so the king asks, why are you sad? Like, what's going on? You don't usually look like this. And Nehemiah ultimately just appeals to him, hey, can I go back and rebuild Jerusalem? Of course, Nehemiah has it all mapped out in his head. So when the king says, do you have a plan for that? Nehemiah says, yes. And he lays out all the details of the plan. And so the king says, absolutely, go ahead. At the end of chapter 2, Nehemiah goes back to Jerusalem. He surveys the walls and comes up with a plan to rebuild them specifically. He approaches Israel with it, and Israel buys in. And so as you get into chapter 3, you see this great response. You have all these people who are building the wall. It's a long list of individuals and families, people who have committed themselves to actually being part of this work. They are going to construct this wall no matter what comes up against them, which is probably good, because when you get into Nehemiah 4, you start to see the same kinds of stuff you saw in Ezra chapter 4. There is opposition. There are people who are trying to fight against it. There are people who are trying to get in the way of Israel, to make sure that the wall is not built, to make sure that Israel does not become safe, to make sure that Jerusalem doesn't become a city that provides for its people. They're trying to attack Nehemiah, and Nehemiah obviously pushes through them. He prays a lot. He prays to God several times. He also takes adequate precautions. He posts guards all over the wall. He gives everybody a weapon, and he says, make sure that you're prepared. God will fight for us, but we have to be prepared to do our part as well. And so they continue building the wall. No matter what comes their way, no matter what enemies try and attack them, they keep on going. You'll have to wait and see the conclusion to this building project and if they get it done or not. Spoiler alert, they will. It'll take a couple chapters, but they will get this done, and we'll have to wait to see that until next week. So I will see you next week when we're going to be reading Nehemiah chapter 5, and we'll be reading all the way down through Esther chapter 7. You'll be looking for those.